Hello, welcome back to Seawolf's Den. I'm Crafting Ron. Like my last few videos, this is another video in my mad dash to craft for the convention. And because I don't do a heck of a lot of gaming at home anymore, I'm kind of going all out, probably a little bit too much. I'm running 3 games. All of them in Savage Worlds. That's my go-to at this point. I have one that's based on Star Frontiers, the classic TSR sci-fi game. I have one based on Blood Shadows, a game that I've been a big fan of since it came out in the late 90s. And now there's a Savage Worlds setting for it that's been kickstarted and it's going through some rough time right now. I'm helping them out with writing the monster manual. So I'm running that. I'm doing a playtest of that tomorrow because it's the one that's the most complex. And then there's my Savage 80s, my favorite setting, really, because it really brings me back to when I was a kid and all the great shows of that time. And I've taken the Savage Worlds rule set and just applied a very kind of superhero-y kind of touch to bringing all these characters from the 80s shows together. You don't know all of them, I'll throw up a picture, and if you can't name half of the people on the screen, then you're too young for my Savage 80s. Or you're just young and won't get all the inside jokes. So, there is going to be a moment where they face a Dr. Moreau type situation. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I need mutants. And these guys, this is the one that started it all. I love this guy, and I didn't know I still had one of these. I have one I've already rebased. I needed like 3 or 4. I've ordered a couple off eBay. Should be coming in the next couple days, but I didn't know I had this one. And this is called a Malborn Croc, and it's from the Dreamblade series. Wizards of the Coast tried to do a totally different miniature game. I never played it. It was weird. It had a lot of weird miniatures, but some of them are just outstanding. And I think that's what they really were kind of relying on, was just the great miniatures. This is a lone wolf, another Dreamblade. I'll tell you the biggest difference in these miniatures in a minute, but Blade Hound. All right, so we have 2 canines. I thought that was a panther. I don't know. I thought it was, but I see the hound now. There was another panther that I've done before. So these are going to be like mutants that crawl around in sewers, and so there's this one I can just completely debase. It's not really the right term, but take off its base. This guy's almost off its base. I gotta clean him up. I don't know what these things are hanging out his arms, but I'm cutting those off, and that he may get repainted. But this guy's got swords, and sadly his swords have seen better days. I'm gonna cut those hands off completely, and I'm gonna use some 40K hands and replace them, and then I'll repaint him. So first off, got to get them off the base. Now these guys, they're actually molded into the base. Like this piece of plastic, this black square is in the base, is part of the miniature. I've had to cut these up before, so you've got to have a sharp knife to cut it out. It's kind of a rubbery plastic, and these do hold up to acetone baths, so I'm not too concerned about it. Alright, so Malborn Croc, I'm going to put him on a base. Let's see, let's get the lone wolf guy. I guess that looks like some kind of steampunk technology in his legs and arms. I can roll with that. That'll work for the 80s. Now he looks better. Say goodbye to the swords. I'm going to cut it. Got the bracers on his arms. I'll leave those on. I'm okay with that. We're going to cut off these swords for 2 reasons. 1, I don't want them to have swords. 2, they look so lame. I only have 1 left hand, and these are going to have to be pinned. My plan is to go ahead and pin these onto the wrist, but before I pin and glue all this, these two have to go. I'm gonna leave this painted. This is fine. I'm gonna acetone these, scrub off that old paint, and what's underneath is that black. I'll prime it so I can get the detail out, and then repaint them some fashion or another. So I will record quickly record the acetone so that you can see it again. You can also see it in miniature mashup. Dave does it really good. Let's go ahead and base that guy. Here's my first one. I think I'm running short on these bases. 40 millimeter. Don't know if I have any more of those. There's 40. All right, so we'll use some of the old Woodies I had because I'm completely out of 40 millimeter plastics. We have to make another one. All right, so just want to make sure, and this is guys the same. This is another guy I'm going to use. He's on the same kind of base. It's kind of a Yeti, but when I got him, he was missing a hand, so I took a hand off another Mage Knight. And why I'm doing so many is because this 80s game is kind of a high level game for Savage Worlds. I mean, they're almost superheroes, so it doesn't take much to get this paint off. I just pour a little bit of acetone inside a old camping pot that I had. I don't use plastic. I try not to. Acetone sometimes melts plastic, so I stick it in this pot, swirl them around just for a few seconds, probably no more than 10 or 15. You can already see the paint start to bead off, and then you just use a toothbrush, dip it in the acetone a couple of times and brush off the paint. It doesn't get it all, but it gets enough of it to get the detail that you want out of the miniature. I've done this before in other videos, and you can also see this at Miniature Mashup on YouTube. Okay, so here are the mutants that I'm creating for the 80s game. This was already created. This was already painted. I went ahead and flocked it to be consistent. It's still drying. These guys are base painted, a darker base first, and you can see some flockings getting on his legs. I'll have to clean that up. And then these guys are pretty much done. I'm just going to paint the sand and then detail it. So the next phase is really kind of just detailing them out. Now, I'm going to do a few unboxings in relation to this project because I got an itch to work on some more Dreamblade while I was working on these, so let's see what I got. So consider this a combination craft unboxing. There were 3 things I bought. They were just buy now. They weren't actual auctions. So this one's just random Dreamblade. Random Dreamblade, 20 of them. Why not? Some of them are just too weird to use in a game. Others, with some work, I can use them. So let's go down the list here. Neverett War Master. Pretty neat. I've had one of these before. Rainforest Shaman. Use those for primitives or something. I have one of these too. I don't know what to use that for. Doom Ball. I guess the miniature is really just the ball itself. That's just the victim. Claw Killer. Interesting. Knight of Tomorrow. So now you got a guy in armor. Futuristic armor. Decapitrix. Got like these crazy claws on her. Apparently she decapitates people. You can cut that off and just make her a regular person. New arms. I've had one of these before. Actually, they were carrying a banner, not a weapon. Stalwart. Ardent Zungar. These are cool looking races that you can use anywhere. Inspired Samurai. And this is where it gets kind of weird. I don't know what that is. Whirling Knife Dancer. Oh, it is a person. He's just upside down. He has knives on his feet. Interesting. I've used one of these before. Eagle Feather Warrior. Zungar Blade Master. He's another Zungar. I've had this guy before too. Neverett Scream Trooper. Blind Spike Mauler. I've used that. Take one off the base. Repainted it. And that's a new one for me. Skinless. Just skinless. Neat. Corpse Built. He's a biggie and very horror based. Oh, I've had one of these guys before. Gun Possessed Killer. Hazarden Grenadier. Sightless Eunuch. So, not as much as I'd hoped, but still cool. Alright. Oh yeah, one in my other hand. Thief of Last Chances. Bird Guy. That can be useful. Alright, another unbox. I got three total. Yeah, this is that one I bought because I thought it was interesting. And it could be a good mutant creature, or it could be a Cthulhuid creature. Toxic Siroth. Yeah, that's pretty wicked. Not entirely sure what's the front and what's the back. And finally, the last box. Another malformed guy. More for him. I'll take care of him, put him on a new base. I like this one. I'm going to put him on a new base as part of this project. The rest of these will go in my stack of stuff. There's one that I don't think I'll ever use, that I didn't do. Well, the Silhouette. It's like a shadow creature. But some of these other ones could be used in this situation that I'm working on, but I'm not going to throw too much. It's only a convention game. It's not a home game. So these two will get rebased. The rest will be put away. Okay, till next time.
So until next time, seek the wolf in thyself.